driving across Alligator Alley. That's all across the state of Florida. And I'm taking advantage of the time that I have because I was just thinking about giving you an update of what's going on in my life. Let me just preface everything by saying, if you don't know who I am, my name's Dave Jackson. I have cancer of the bile duct, which is your bile is between your gallbladder and your liver, and I was diagnosed this year, so it's kind of brand new to me, even though I was diagnosed early in the year and we're already at the end of this year. So I've been dealing with this guy for almost a year, and things are going great. I am at work. I work. I'm flight crew with American Airlines. You might have seen some of my updates from crazy places all over the globe. And I love the job. I love the flexibility of the job. I love the great insurance. Thank you, American Airlines. Everything is working out where I can. And I also like people, as you know. Or if you don't know, if those of you that have followed me know that I just love people, love helping out. And, you get to do that on the job as being part of the crew. There are so many people coming and going now. It's just unbelievable. I didn't think we'd get back to this volume of people so quickly. I started back to work in August. It was like just starting then, but I mean from the end of August all the way till now, the flights have been like super packed, super full. And now we're in this month, which takes us into 2022, which I'm not sure when you're watching this video, but because of the pandemic and everything, how things went down to like nothing, but now they're back full force. They still, as of this taping, they still do require, or videoing, or however you say it nowadays, since we don't use videotape anymore, they still require masks on board, so make sure you bring one. And, if that's not the case anymore, well, just listen to the update about my cancer situation. Hopefully it helps you. So, cancer you can get like at any time, and a lot of people carry cancers around with them, don't know anything, any better. And the reason why that is because a lot of cancers really don't hurt. They don't make themselves known. They're hard to detect until they cause problems. And then when you go looking for them, what's causing this issue in your system, well, that's when they rear their head and we find out that, hey, there's something going on that we need to take care of as a person. So I am going to do something that I haven't done before. I noticed that my camera mount in the car here is shaking a lot. So I'm going to stop the video now, and then what I'm going to do from there is put in a stabilizing software and see if that makes it a little bit better. I'm not sure, my head's shaking around a lot. I'm using an iPhone, the 13 Pro Max, and there are several of the modes on there that do image stabilization, and I'm not sure if this is one of them because I can see the video part just shaking around, and I want you guys to pay attention more to what I say instead of my bobblehead. Okay, so I'll be right back. All right, so bobblehead or not, here we go on part 2 of the video. I noticed I played back some of it and it looked okay to me, so we're fine with it. Around the middle of it out here. Actually, the Glades part has gone by for the most part, and now we're into like more firmer ground, which means we are closer to the east coast, or the west coast rather, of Florida. The Everglades kind of goes like hangs closer to, well, it just depends, but there's strips of land on either side of the Everglades, and on one side of it we have beautiful Naples, Florida, where I live, Fort Myers, and then on the other side we have Miami, which is beautiful in its own way. Okay. Anyway. anyway, I am happy that you stopped by the video today and are watching this. I strongly suggest, if you could, give me some support by just subscribing to the video and maybe referring a friend to it if you believe they can be helped by anything I say on this. Let you know up front that this is just for educational purposes only. I'm not a physician, not a dietitian, not a nutritionist, not anything, not even some kind of what do they call us, witch doctors in the jungle or whatever. No, none of those things. All I am is somebody that, when I found out I had cancer, I took it upon myself to find out what I could do to alleviate, get rid of, cure, heal, whatever, this thing that I had. And initially I did not put in cancer of the bile duct. I just put in cancer. And interestingly enough, I guess because of some of the other Google searches I did, I wound up on a page that had to do with people who were using diet as a way to improve their fight with cancer. And somehow at the bottom of the page 1, I remember my Google history, looking back at the history, because I wanted to find out the date. When was the date that I found out about all this information? And I initially, I don't know about you, but I just wanted the scientific studies. I didn't want somebody's blog, even though it may work for somebody. I didn't think it was for me. For me, I thought, I want what some guys in a lab tried out either on mice and then eventually went to a human study, or, did some kind of work with a big group of people and then they had a control, this kind of thing, like a scientific study. So I searched for the scientific papers, and they're out there on Google. A lot of them are on the government websites, and some of them are on science websites, science.com, and other websites that publish these scientific papers are, can't think of them now, but there are a very, very small handful of legit sites. So those are the ones that I seeked out first, and based my, how are we going to start this whole journey on those papers. And one of the very first ones I found talked about a diet that was low in protein, low in calories, not something you just stuff yourself, low in calories, and high in fat. And the reason why, I thought, well, gosh, that sounds weird, right? I mean, I tried to find some of the recipes. It was very hard, but I noticed that the fat to protein ratio was 1 to 4. In other words, 1 protein to 4 of fat, that way. So we are ingesting fat from the get-go, out the wazoo. I mean, it was just like, I looked at my plate when I made something like this, because you measure everything. You want to get the diet right. And I thought, man, gee, that's a lot of fat, really. But I started that back in March, and, immediately things started turning around slowly. I started doing chemotherapy at the end of June, so we had March, April, May, June, so like 4 months there. At the very end of June, I started doing chemo. Now, my oncologist here in Naples will tell you that my great blood work numbers, my tumor markers and everything like coming down was because of the chemo. But what are you going to say when I wasn't doing chemo? I mean, they were still improving greatly, and I wasn't doing anything different other than the diet, right? So the diet, you may have heard of it before. It's a keto diet, ketogenic, right? The only thing is most keto diets are 3-to-1, and some carbs, and probably just, maybe a gram or 2 of sugar. My diet is absolutely as close as you can get to zero carbs as possible. And if you're watching this and you get nothing else out of it, get these macros down for you, okay? These different percentages of what you're supposed to be ingesting, which I know will help you. I mean, if it doesn't help you, you're going to be one of the rare breeds that this doesn't help, because I found that this diet helps almost 100% of the people that I share this with. And it's such a good thing because it makes your body feel better. You get into the right weight and the right level of how much fat you're carrying on around, and also energy. Everything kind of like balances out. It doesn't kind of like balance. It actually balances out to a point where your body can start healing itself the way it was designed to do from up above, right? Or the creator, or whatever you believe in. This body is so amazing. It's just beyond belief. I remember as a kid that sometimes, I grew up in Brazil. I grew up actually grew up in the Amazon area, the Amazon jungle area. So we had a lot of time to do woodwork, whittle, had very sharp knives, would make cars, boats, everything as little kids. And every once in a while, that knife would slip, or the wood would be too green, and you'd slip and cut yourself. And I still have some scars to show for that. But for the most part, even though it hurt a lot, especially as a little kid, that wound would heal up in days. And what made it do that? It wasn't me doing anything special other than keeping the wound clean and letting the body do its own thing. Even today, my body can heal like that, right? And so it's not only on the outside, like superficial wounds, but also on the inside where you have stuff going on. If you get your body in balance, and you can do this with diet and some of the other things that are in my protocol, like good sleep health, good exercising, great mindset, and meditation, fasting. These things are like my pillars that explain why I am having such great success with what I put together. And I did a lot of experimentation too. When something I took wouldn't work, or didn't work, or I didn't see any results at all, or went the other way, I get that thing out of my protocol just as soon as possible. There was one mention of taking bergamot powder, orange bergamot. It's like a citrus, and they make powder capsules out of it. They also make tea out of it, but I wanted the effect from the powder, because if you ingest enough of it, according to a scientific study, I only saw one, in some instances it helped people with neuropathy, which is when you have chemotherapy, that chemo goes in there and it does a number on the cancer cells, yes, but it also does a number on your good cells, healthy cells as well. And we can protect them as much as we can through fasting. I get into that on a fasting video that I do that's on the website, and talk a little bit about that. And also, get over here a little bit. And also, supplements that you take can really help when you're, into chemo. So fasting and some supplements, namely this one, the bergamot powder. Well, I started taking it, and as a matter of fact, I had the opposite effect. I had the worst month of neuropathy. Now, what is neuropathy? That's where you kind of lose the feeling in the tips of your fingers, and also on the bottom of my feet, and that's just a weird place to lose feeling. two things happen, at least to me they did. Now, it wasn't like horrifying. I've heard people have pain when they're doing this, and I never had any pain, but it's just inconvenience. You know, you'd grab something like a water bottle or something like that, and you would lose your grip sometimes, and the thing would drop. And walking was kind of funny, because sometimes not that you lose your balance, but you feel like, you know, you're not really well planted on the ground. So the bergamot for me didn't help at all, and I gave it a good long chance in various situations and kept on, you know, making these updates, and then in my own journal would journal, you know, what happened, how I felt. And so, you know, all I'm saying is I've taken this, what I'm doing now, and I refined it. And not only that, I keep refining it. And, you know, I find things that work. I listen. I have an open mind about stuff. As I said, I'm not really into the weird stuff, although dog dewormer is a product that is cheap and can be purchased online without a prescription, and has shown to do wonders with people suffering from tumors or malignancies or cancer in their body. And this is dog dewormer. Who would have guessed? I mean, who actually ingested this and did the testing on it? But if you go to Google right now and put in dog dewormer cancer, you will find that there has been many studies on Fenben, which is the short name for it, and cancer and how it affects tumor growth. And these things to me are eye-openers and fantastic, and the reason why they are so good is because the standard of care still in the United States for cancer patients, people who have been diagnosed with cancer, is initially either radiation therapy or chemotherapy, and then images. Let's do a CT scan, let's do an MRI, let's do these scans and find out, you know, where we're at with the chemo, see if we need to raise your dosage or lower your dosage or whatever. And we keep going. Now, as I said before, the chemo does a taxing number on your good cells. Chemotherapy was designed in a way that goes after fast-growing cells. So just imagine the fast-growing cells in your body, which would be your fingertips and the bottom of your feet. I mean, that skin grows. If you like, you can go and have that skin like scraped, you know, like filed, what do they call it? Like, you know, taken down like they do at a nail place, nail shop. And sometimes they'll take like this abrasive thing to the bottom of your feet and just kind of like soften it up a little bit, remove some of that skin. But that stuff grows back just so fast, doesn't it? And what else is so fast growing? You know, externally that we can see, of course, hair follicles. We're always getting our hair follicles. Hairs are being replaced on your body. And if you have cancer, a lot of times that hair just like it disappears, you know, it just goes away. I did find a lot of interesting combinations with fasting and doing chemo that would mitigate the side effects from chemotherapy, such as nausea and diarrhea, you know, the horrible things you have when this thing gets in your body. Now, those I don't have because of the fasting. But I wasn't able to mitigate the side effect that I believe a couple of the strong ones that I take, and I do have a couple of cycles to go yet, that would keep my hair in place, you know, so that fell out. It is kind of growing back. It's a little short and fuzzy. They told me, you know, oh, don't worry about it. Your hair's going to grow back. Matter of fact, we hear it grows back black and curly. Well, I'm 66 years old, and I don't think it's coming back as black and curly. It looks straight and white to me. Nevertheless, there are other things in the body too that you got to worry about. They're on the inside of your body. One thing is the inside of your mouth. those cells in there grow so fast, right? And cancer, the chemotherapy drugs can do a number on that. Stomach lining, your intestinal lining, your heart, other cells, just, different parts of your body that get fixed and come back, every few days. These are fast-growing cells, and chemotherapy does go after those as well. So just know that going in. You probably already know that. If you have an issue with your chemo, contact me, because I believe I can help you with my fasting protocol and that I put together, and it works very well. Everybody that has tried it has had pretty much success with it. They have seen great changes. As long as you follow it, you got to be disciplined and follow it, you'll do well. All right. So I'm having to bring you up to date with a little bit of news. I'm having chemo done. Let's see, I'm not sure when my next chemo is going to be, but I have an MRI scheduled for next Monday, and then tomorrow I have a CAT scan, and I debated with my oncologist here in Naples about this, because on one of my visits with him, he mentioned that I'd no longer be doing CAT scans or PET scans. Now, why do you think that's even an issue? I'll tell you why. Is because a CAT scan is a large dosage of X-ray going in you, along with I'm pretty sure it's an isotope of some kind that they put in your bloodstream to make the imaging with as you're rolling through the machine slowly. And a PET scan is even stronger than that. Now, PET scan is higher definition, and granted, they can see a lot better when it's a PET scan. A CAT scan is just used mainly, the way I understand it, guys, is to see the size, to see if the cancer has metastasized anywhere. So they're going to do one for my chest, which will include the area right down here that I have the bile duct cancer, and hopefully it'll show that it's a lot smaller or disappeared or whatever. Would be great, right? And then on Monday morning, I'm gonna get an MRI done, and that is going to be for my abdomen. They're just going to check, see if there's anything there. Pretty sure they're not going to find anything there, because I don't think there's anything going on at all. But I'll let you know if you subscribe and hit the little bell. As soon as that video drops, you'll know. Or you can follow me on the other channels on social media. I do include them in the description. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I went in like maybe a month ago, and I asked my oncologist, I said, where do you think we are really on the chemotherapy? Because for months I've been asking him, I think for me it's a little too strong, I'm losing my hair, and, I'm having, thoughts that maybe you're pumping too much of this stuff in me. And he's going, yeah, but we're having fantastic results. Your blood work's coming back just fantastic, because, this shows that you can actually tolerate it. And I'm going, but guys, it's the ketogenic diet. I think your oncologist should be on board with your ketogenic diet, really. And mine is, initially, when we met, our very first meeting with him, I already told him, I says, you know what? I just want to let you know I'm on this very special diet. I just started on this when I first saw him. And it's, low protein, high fat, blah, blah, blah. guy didn't even really want to know too much about it at all, and which was disappointing but I understood, because oncologists, from what I understand, are not taught diet in school at all, in cancer school. They are taught, genetic theory, genetics, mutations, and, very little about anything metabolic, about maybe some metabolism of the metabolic way of a cancer cell. But as far as using diet as something to combat your illness, they're not taught that. I've heard this over and over, that no, if they get anything about diet, it's, maybe a class or two. And at some of the major cancer centers in the United States, namely Moffitt Cancer Center in Tampa, I have an oncologist up there too, because my oncologist in Naples said, I got this friend up at Moffitt, maybe he can take a look too, and then we'll have more eyes on your case, Dave. And I said, yeah, that's great. The guy up in Tampa is really rah-rah for ketogenic diet and for doing the fasting and the other things that I told him about that are in my protocol. And he goes, man, yeah, this is great stuff. I can't get my patients to do it, but if you can have the discipline to do it, then let's go for it. So yeah, and he knows that's why I'm having such great results. Matter of fact, when I was there last time and did an in-face meeting with him, because a lot of times, because of COVID, we're doing these Zoom meetings. He said, I want to see your tumor markers, if you can go downstairs and get a lab draw, and I thought, blood. But did it and found out my tumor markers are even down even more, so really happy about that. And but up there, the same thing, I wrote a message to somebody at Moffitt. It wasn't my oncologist, it was another department, the diet department, the food diet department up there, and wanted to know if they had anything for people that are going through chemotherapy. What was their diet, like? And I'm telling you, it just saddened me really, because they had a lot of carbohydrates on there, which turn into sugars, which feed cancer. And then a lot of things that had high contents of sugar, namely fruits and assorted things like that, which were, they're just not good for the body at all. What's happening this week, and of course Monday of next week. And I encourage you to take a look at the website that I put together that will help you understand the protocol if you're interested at all. It is, and it's in the description below, it's called Naples.Academy. And when you go to Naples.Academy, you can select to view the 7 pillars, 7 different videos that talk about the 7 pillars of my protocol. I don't know why I called them that, because I thought it was, it's the thing that kind of upholds the deal that I'm doing, that's giving me what I can to come to you and hopefully help you in your cancer struggle, challenge. I don't want to call it struggle. Let's call it a challenge, and help you out, So remember that all of it's educational. None of it's like medical advice at all. But it's helped me. You can do with it what you want. I tell people not to copy it, but you can just have at it. Pretend it's like a grocery store, and the stuff's on the shelf there. You just take what you need, and I'll completely understand. What I want you to do, though, is if you can, is to schedule a 15-minute free Zoom call with me, and let's discuss, go over your cancer challenge if you'd like. We'll compare notes, what's going on with me. I do this with whoever wants to sign up. I mean, the link is below there too if you want to sign up just off this YouTube video. But if you want to go through Naples.Academy, you can sign up that way as well for the free 15-minute Zoom call. You want to know the truth. Usually, if I don't have anybody else scheduled, we go on for like a little bit, and you'll gain a lot of information on the research that I've done and how it has helped me. Okay, and I hope it can help you. I mean, that's my hope. That's my mission, is to bring this to people, to show them that there's a safe and better way to do things, to do this. And I'm telling you, it's just a breath of fresh air when I hear back from people that I've helped and coached that say, hey, I want to let you know this thing is really working, my numbers look better, and those kind of testimonials are just so make me so happy, because that's what it's all about. I found out what worked for me. Hopefully it can work for you, and or someone that you know. Oftentimes I will get like a direct message either on Twitter or on Instagram from somebody whose husband or whose aunt or whose relative is suffering from cancer, and we'll take it from there, and it's just makes you so happy inside when you can help somebody else with it. So if you believe I can help you or somebody that you know, let me know, okay? And we'll put something together and schedule a meeting, and just have a nice laid back time, talk about what's going on. If the struggle is like further on down the line where it's the disease is really progressing, I'll show you what I've found out about those situations. Remember, take this up with your oncologist, with your physician. If I say anything or tell you this is what I would suggest as far as diet, make sure you clear that with whoever. I don't want to get you in trouble or get me in trouble over saying something that's against his wishes or against something that you guys set out to do. But that said, I became my own advocate and put together what I felt good with inside that would really help me to get a hold and get 1 foot ahead of this cancer thing. So, and it's worked. All right. I encourage you to take a look at the site. Again, it's Naples.Academy. I love your support. Thank you so much for, you guys writing in the comments and just doing the thumbs up thing on here on YouTube. And I appreciate you. I am coming up here to Naples. I'm going to do some shopping at Costco and then go home. And we will see you on the next video. Thanks so much.